Now announce Feng Shui presentation start. Paper I-20APR22. A study on the relationship between Feng Shui interest and management performance by Professor Yeon-Su. Contents: number 1, introduction. Number 2, theoretical background. Number 3, research design. Number 4, empirical analysis. Number 5, conclusion. Number 1, introduction. Effect for the development of a small business have been mentioned as important issue in both government and academy. Many studies related to small business have a more focus on the factors for management performance or regional rule for development, and where a number of factors have an effect on management performance. However, none of the studies mention how the elements of Feng Shui site recognition, which are closely related to our life, have an effect on the management performance of small business. In this regard, this study derives the main factors of Feng Shui site recognition and the effect of the factors on the business performance of a small business for the development of small business, and examine through empirical study what kind of controlling function does the entrepreneurship execute, and what kind of role does it play in the relationship between Feng Shui space placement and management performance. The purpose of the study is to present basic data that are necessary to promote small business. Number 2, theoretical background. Feng Shui geography is an oriental geographic and an empirical scientific study which seeks place for man, animal, and plant to live more healthy and comfortable in the natural by studying the circulation principle of the wind and water, the process of the land formation, and the geological condition based on the yin yang and 5 elements theory. It is practical study with the method to grasp the various influence of the natural factors such as geology, sunshine, weather, wind direction, water wave, landscape, etc. On living scene to cover their superiority and to selection only the best among them, use them in life. Feng Shui is basically looking for a way for humans to live together with the nature without getting harmed by discrimination between good and bad land, through observing basically the natural phenomenon that is the movement of wind and water. The purpose of the Feng Shui is to enhance the adaptability of human being to the residential environment by interpreting and discriminating the change of the earth according to 5 elements and Feng Shui theory under the assumption that everything in the universe is constantly changing. On the other hand, another purpose of Feng Shui is the set the ancestry grave at the place with the lively and vigorous energy of the earth, so that the soul can rest in the peace and invoke happy life for the offering. Therefore, Feng Shui interesting can be said to be the duty of the application of the attitude and recognition to active the purpose of the Feng Shui described above. This story attempts to organize the subject on Feng Shui side recognition into 4 categories such as space placement, space shape, junction space, and topography, and study the effect of those sub-factors on management performance. As for space placement, the condition of front low, rear high, and the principle of entrance narrow inside large mean that the gate and entrance located in front of the building should be narrow, and the yard or the interior should be wide. As for the space shape, the material harmony and synthesis between 2 energy flow into 3-dimension space, and the planar space should be formed in the inseparable synthesis relationship, and the ratio of the 3-dimension space and the planar space should be under condition of 0.577 to 0.822, 1 while 1 and 0.577 to 0.866. In case of junction space, the exterior of the building in junction should be square and upright with no irregularity to be auspicious when building a structure on the ground objects to road. There are methods of front, middle, and rear layout depend on how far it is from the road. The purpose of the theographic is the same as the great Feng Shui, that look for sites where vitality remains, since house site or later the Feng Shui aim at looking for Jinhao where there is full of the vitality that flower along certain paths in the ground. However, the difference between the grave and the house is on the size. So when discussing the topographical Feng Shui, the logical structure of the Yang, Her, Sa, and Su should be applied. Myeongdang is the place where the good spirit gather in tradition Feng Shui. Myeongdang is, in a word, a land with a lot of good energy. A good energy is spirit that gives health to people, make them feel comfortable, and motivate them to live. A land with especially a lot of good energy was called here. The size of here that occupied the most important place in Myeongdang is generally with a radius of the 1 to 2 meter and about 10 meter at most. So it is very important to find the correct hair in the case of the grave. However, in corporate Feng Shui, we must approach the concept of the large area than the Myeongdang and here that fall into the small area where the energy better. The whole universe is full of the energy, and the world feeling key one is the combination of the energy key and to divide one in the sense that humans share the energy of the universe. Therefore, all the human beings who have the feeling come together at the place where good energy gather to form a city, to make a mark, to build a structure, and to form a business district. Therefore, the area that attracts human and place where good spirit gather to improve human life were called Myeongji, referring to bigger region than Myeongdang. And out of Myeongji, the place where a lot of people and energy gather was called Seoul. The management performance of the company is the result of the effective and efficient management of the human and physical result of the company. The management performance of the company can be viewed as the result that each business unit, function, task group, and individual that make up the company activity to realize the goal of the company. That is the sum of the performance of the responsibility unit. A company has variety of the goal that an organization must activate over a fixed period of time, and the achievement of the organization's goals can be expressed as the performance. Innovation is one of the important components in the story of the entrepreneurship. Miller argued for three dimensions of the entrepreneurship: innovation, progressiveness, and risk-taking. Stable and Gellier also categorized into the innovative risk-taking to create new value and activities to redistributive or recombine research progressive, and afterward more the variously opinions were processed based on it. Then expanded the factors of the Miller and added the concept of the competitivity and aggressiveness and Lumpkin and Des also argued that competitivity, positivity, independence, and autonomy were important components of the entrepreneurship. Number 3, research design. In order to empirically verify the flow of research, this story established the following research model to activate the purpose of the research based on the model relate to Feng Shui interesting. Feng Shui side recognition, management performance, and entrepreneurship, such as in previous story. Figure number 1, research model. So edit this graph. The causal hypothesis method was used to graph the entire direction relationship between Feng Shui interest as an independent variable and management performance as dependent variable, and for hypotheses were set as follows to verify the research the model. Hypothesis number 1. Feng Shui interest will have a positive impact on Feng Shui site recognition. Hypothesis number 2. Feng Shui site recognition will have a positive effect on management performance. Hypothesis number 3. Feng Shui site recognition will mediate the effect of the Feng Shui interest on management performance. Hypothesis number 4. Innovation will control the mediate effect of the Feng Shui site recognition interface. Number 4. Empirical analysis. The result of a hypothesis number 1. Feng Shui interesting will have a positive effect on Feng Shui site recognition as shown in table 1. Feng Shui interesting had a significant effect on all the Feng Shui site factors as the regression coefficients of the space placement is B 646. That of the space shape is B 6142, and that of the junction space is B 4765, and that of the topographic is B 5084. Table 1. Regression and analysis of the Feng Shui interesting Feng Shui site recognition. So edit this graph. The result of a hypothesis 1. Feng Shui site recognition will have a positive effect on management performance, as shown in table 2. Space placement, junction space, and topography were found out of B significant, while space shape was typical, not significant. Table 2. Regression analysis of the Feng Shui site recognition and management performance. Edit this graph. The indirection effect of space placement was significant as 95% PC bootstrap confidence interval of the result was 0.0272 and 0.2083, while the indirection effect of the shape was not significant as 95% bootstrap confidence interval of the result was minus 0.0302 and 0.1018. The indirection effect of a junction space was significant as 95% bootstrap confidence interval of the result was 0.0446 and 0.1648, and the indirection effect of the space shape was significant as 95% bootstrap confidence interval of the result was 0.1421 and 0.3158. Table 3. Analysis of a mediating effect of Feng Shui site recognition. Edit this graph. Therefore, space placement, junction space, and topography were found out of have a mediating effect on the relationship between Feng Shui interesting and management performance while space chef does not have. Table 4 frustrate verification for analysis of mediating effect of Feng Shui site recognition. Edit described. The analysis of adjusted mediating effect of innovation of entrepreneurship show that the higher the innovation of entrepreneurship is, the more the interaction effect of the adjusted mediating effect increased as shown in Table 5 and Table 6. In addition, all three groups of the innovation are statistically significant as they do not contain zero between the lowest limited and highest limited value of the interaction effect. Table 5 analysis of a mediating effect controlled by innovation. The edit is correct. Table 6 illustrates verification of the significance of mediating effect controlled by innovation. Edit is correct. Number 5, conclusion. This study result implied that the effect which appeared in the past of the Feng Shui, interesting, Feng Shui site recognition and management performance can be significantly adjusted according to the innovation of the entrepreneurship. In particular, it suggests that the mediating effect of the Feng Shui site recognition between the Feng Shui interesting and management performance can be more greatly experienced when the innovation is high. The implication of this study can be summarized into main categories as follows. First of all, consider the mediating path of the Feng Shui interesting Feng Shui site recognition. Management performance was significant. The factors of the Feng Shui site recognition, such as topography, junction space, space shape, etc. In the process of an analysis of the site, commercial right needed to be considered as a success factor of the small caption business activities. These results, however, indicate the people with high Feng Shui interest will reflect Feng Shui interest in the process of the creating a business space, and the Feng Shui site recognition of the business space give rise to expectation and belief about Feng Shui blessing, operating the nobleman mechanism based on the Feng Shui. The other is that innovation work as a driving factor in the management performance recognition in case that the topography, which might be the most important factor of the blessing in traditional discourse, is considered good. This does not indicate that Feng Shui is merely good, but that human subjective effect and rules are one of the key factors of business performance. Thank you for listening our presentation.